Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on where you are in the world today. We're here with Gillian Burtwell, who has been gracious enough to spend some time with us this afternoon, my time, of course, to discuss a little bit about herself. And as I'm sure you are aware by now, Gillian is a speaker at the Wellness Lifestyle Conference coming up on August the 14th. Gillian, great to have you here with us today. How are things going over in your neck of the woods?
Yes, it's not a bad day here for a change. The weather's quite good, so I'm hoping to get out for a nice walk this afternoon because I like to do that to set my mindset. So,
Oh,
yep.
nice, nice. Sounds good. Sounds incredible. Well, Gillian, as I was saying to you before we started this live, I'm actually fascinated by your journey because it's one that sort of mirrors my own in that I think we both came from corporate, the high-powered business lifestyle. And then there was just sort of this turning point. But I'm very keen to have you share your personal experience as to what brought you to working in the field that you work today with anxiety and depression and helping people adjust their mindset.
Certainly. Well, it all actually started for me when I was very young. I was about 15 and I had a trauma.
Mm.
And that was never really dealt with. So I went through my life just carrying everything around, like as I say, it all went onto a safety belt and all the rest of it. And
Yeah.
then, unfortunately, when I was a high flying HR advisor. I'd worked hard, got myself. I had 2 degrees at this point: a degree in psychology
Wow.
and then a postgraduate diploma in human resource management. And this was my way of, I thought I can just keep going, keep going. It won't catch up with me. It'll never catch up with me because I'll always be one step ahead. Um,
Mm.
but unfortunately, as I say, I never dealt with the issues. So they just kept piling up, piling up. And it was like, you have this belt around your waist and all these issues were going into the pockets. And then all of a sudden, it was actually the 6th of November, 2007. And I was actually making my way towards the doctors. I was driving in my car. It was a beautiful autumn day. I can remember that. But I actually sat there and I thought, I actually said out loud, God, I wish you could take me out of this world. I don't feel like I
Mm.
belong here anymore. Suddenly this black cloud just descended upon me. And I just felt I just did not belong here anymore. Um,
Oh,
Prior to
gosh.
that, I've been trying to control my life again. I was exercising too much. I had to exercise 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Plus, I was doing a full-time job as well. So by the time I actually got to the doctor, she said to me, "You are mentally and physically exhausted." Which
Jeepers.
I understand, yeah. This was me. I was in a bad relationship at the time. I wasn't enjoying my job. So this was me trying to take control.
Mm.
Was through the exercise,
Yes.
keeping myself fit, and that was taking my mind off. Because I thought, well, this is a good thing to do because it takes your mind off your problems. Everybody says exercise is good for you, but there is such a thing as too much.
For sure. Yes.
That was way too much. So I was put on antidepressants. In fact, they brought in a psychiatrist to see me, and she
Gosh.
diagnosed me with anxiety and depression. And it had stemmed back to the trauma that I had had as a child. But then
Mm.
my life just took on different things, and bad relationships and things like that. So, an awful lot of stress and doing things wrong and going down the wrong path and all this kind of stuff. Um, so I actually was in a bad relationship just a few years ago. And it was he mentally abused me rather than physically abused me. Uh,
Mm.
so, and then I was actually went to a job far up in the north. I really liked the north west coast of Scotland. I thought this was,
Oh,
a
beautiful.
place where
Yeah.
I could live, and it was far away from the city life. It was far away from corporate life, and I felt
Mm.
this is where I can be. Unfortunately, I went into a job where I was being bullied, and the hours were very long, and I had to look after a small team of young people. But then the main problem was that the main boss was a bully, and so by the time I got back to my mum's here in Nairn, I was mentally exhausted. And I
I can
thought,
imagine.
this has got to stop. Something is not right here. So it was a friend of my mum's. Well, my mum's friend, my mum's friend's son, actually.
Right.
He said he was up seeing his mum, and he said, "Why don't you invite Gillian to come round and see me and see if I can maybe help her with some of the issues?" So I thought, why not? At this point, I'd been on medication, sleeping tablets. I tried CBT. None of it was working for me. None of it. In fact, I actually went to my psychiatrist and I said, "Can I come off my medication? Because I really don't feel it's working for me." He was actually very pleased about it, because very rarely do patients actually come and say, "Can I come off my medication?"
Yeah.
He was actually pleased. He said, because the combination of tablets that you were on could affect your heart. And now this is the problem I find with medication, that it can be so harmful to the body.
Absolutely.
So go back to the story where I went across, and this guy showed me how to he did an NLP on me, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And within 10 minutes, there was a shift. And I hadn't told him anything about my problem. I kept it all in my head. That's what he told me to do.
Yeah.
And he worked on it in my head. And it was the most incredible thing. And he was a hypnotherapist as well. And he said to me, "How do you fancy learning these tools?" And I said, "Yes." So he put me in touch with somebody. So I've been on a journey to learn NLP and hypnotherapy. And I'm just blown away with the changes you can make with people within a few minutes.
Yes.
And you're not hurting them with medication. They can go away happy. The problem with medication is it just masks the problem.
Absolutely. And I say a lot to my clients that, because this question comes up a lot, where do I stand on Western medication for specifically depression, anxiety, that sort of thing. And I say, look, if you are in a really bad way and just the thought of going to see someone for assistance is too much, then absolutely go on the medication just to get you that little bit of clarity. But then that, like you said, just masks the symptoms. That's all it does. It doesn't deal with the underlying issue. And the moment you go into medication, you absolutely then do need to, once you've got that clarity, that little bit of mind clearing, you have to start dealing with the underlying issues, which it sounds like that's exactly what you did.
Yes, absolutely. This is, because I've had people come to me and they don't particularly want to talk about their issue. And this was something that I can totally recognize with, because I had told doctors, I had told psychiatrists, I had told psychologists. I was tired of telling my story. I was like, "Can you not read my notes?" "No, we need to hear it again from you." And so I can relate to people who say, "I am tired of telling my story. Help me, please, just help me." And that's what you can do with these methods, with hypnotherapy and with NLP. You do not need to hear the story. As long as they have it here in their mind, then you can work with it. And as I say, the results are just truly fantastic.
Incredible. Yeah.
And
just amazing.
I just get such a buzz when I've helped somebody. It's the most wonderful feeling in the world to think you've actually helped someone. There's nothing better. Money doesn't, winning the lottery doesn't come close to this. It's just the most wonderful feeling for me. I decided that I wanted to help people. I'm very much worried and concerned about young people, particularly the pandemic that we've got at the moment. And what I've done just recently is I've joined a charity called Mikey's Line, which is here in the Highlands of Scotland. It came about through two young men taking their own lives within 48 hours of each other. So sad. And the uncle of one of these boys had decided that he wanted to set up a charity so that this, we could try and stop this from happening again. So Mikey's Line is basically, it started off as a text line, because that it's not so intrusive. People are more likely to text, especially young people are more likely to text rather than to phone. And they can always delete it as well. They don't, they can sit and think about it before sending it.
Yes.
And we also have a hub, which they can come into. It's called the Hive, where they can come in and have one-to-one with us. And also we now are going into the schools and we're having one-to-ones with the children. I'm very much of the mindset that we need to go into the primary schools and help the children, to give them the skills to be able to be strong enough when they get to being a teenager, when all these, things start happening in your life, your body starts to change and all that. Get them at a young age to find out, to tell them what their emotions are, how their emotions manifest in their body, and just accept them, to help them to accept them. And the ones that are, like anger or fear or things like that, give them tools and techniques to help them deal with that. So that when they, as I say, when they're teenagers, when something happens, they think, oh, I know how I can deal with that. I don't have to let that, swamp me or, take me down a bad road. I can actually deal with that. I know what that is and I know how to deal with it. And so that's really what I'd like to do, as well as help adults. I want to help children as well. I just want to help everybody.
I think that is incredible. I mean, that's just such a beautiful desire that I can see literally just radiating off you. You really want to make an impact in the world and actually help people. And I'm so happy that you are wanting to also help children. It seems to be a bit of a theme that's developing this week in my interviews. The amount of people that are saying, we really need to get in with children so that they are given these tools. Because the other beautiful thing about children is when they learn something that they find beautiful and impactful, they become champions for the cause and they share that knowledge freely, and I think that parents would be a lot sometimes more open to hearing something from their little one, oh, mommy, daddy, if you do this that I just learned at school today, you can manage your emotions better. Where they might not go to a coach, they might not go to an NLP practitioner to learn these things. But if they can learn that from their own little ones, how amazing wouldn't that be?
Absolutely. I'm so
but I could not agree with you more that, gosh, the last probably 18 months or so have been so tough. When the world first started to go into lockdown, I think everybody sort of thought, oh, well, 2 weeks vacation, it's not going to be that bad and we just have to stay at home and we'll deal with it. And then 2 weeks turned into 4 and 4 weeks turned into 6 and it just, kept extending. And then you come out of lockdown, you go back in again. And every time that happened, when I was speaking to my clients at least, and I'm sure you saw the same sort of thing as well, a lot of people were saying, there's all this stuff coming up because I've never had time to sit and think about it. Where is my life going? What is my legacy that I'm leaving behind? Is this the life I want to lead? Because we're all so busy 24/7, like you said at the outset. You think you can just stay one step ahead because you're busy, right? You may not be phenomenally productive, but you're busy. So you're up early in the morning and you're getting off to gym and then you're in the car again and going to work and sat at your desk and replying to emails. And there's no time to really see the reflection in the mirror. But these last 2 years, 18 months or so, have caused a lot of people they've had no choice. They're alone with their own thoughts. And to me, that is why I think we're seeing a lot more of an uptick in the amount of people who are suffering from anxiety and depression. So my question, I suppose, to you would be, for people out there who maybe are not seeing how do I put this? Those sort of intense, markers that you and I we know because we work in the field, we've both experienced it as well. We know what a nervous breakdown looks like. We know what deep depression and severe anxiety looks like. But there's a lot of people out there who are just maybe off and a little bit more severely off than normal. But by the same token, they're not quite sure, is this anxiety or is this depression, or, do I even want to diagnose myself as such? What can people like that do in order to shift their mindset?
Well, I suppose a number of things that people can do. Really, one of the things that I like to do is breathing. I set on my breathing, breathing techniques. There's one that the Navy SEALs use, which I find really, really good. Now, when you think about these are big lads. They're not going to do something that isn't going to work for them. And this is what they practice before they go into battle, or if they're going into another situation. So they breathe in for 4, they hold it for 7, and then let it go for 8. And if you do that several times, it just calms your lymphatic system.
Yes.
Just gets you to just easily come down. Just calms it right down. And it's the most wonderful thing to do. Another thing that's that I like to do as well, and is very good, is emotional freedom tapping. Now, this is something where it actually comes from Chinese medicine. Was where it originated from, and it's following the the meridian lines of instead of putting needles in, you actually tap on these areas. So for people who are maybe needle phobic, this is another way of doing it, and actually have positive affirmations as you acknowledge the problem first, and you'll maybe say that for instance you can tap on your wrist and you say I can understand that I can feel that I'm feeling a bit anxious today. And I understand that's my body's way of just trying to protect me. It thinks that I'm in a scary situation at the moment. And I would just like to thank my body for bringing that to my attention. However, and you tap up here, I don't really think that's necessary for me today. I'm actually feeling quite secure and safe today, so I really don't think this feeling is possibly needed at the moment. So I would like this feeling to just dissipate, and I everything that it's doing, it can come back another time when it thinks that I really, really need it. But right now, I'm feeling really okay. And I really don't think this is something that I need to have in my body right now. And you can take, you can have all different affirmations for all different scenarios that you're feeling, and just acknowledge it, say thank you, and then move on and ask it to maybe, leave at the moment. That's not really doing you any favors. So that's another technique you can use.
Fantastic. Please do continue.
One of the other things that I really, really love to do, and this is something I like mindfulness as a way of keeping me grounded. So when things are really getting on top of me, I'm very lucky. I live about 10 minutes walk from a beautiful beach.
Oh, lovely.
And I can go east or west, and I can walk for miles in either direction. And of course, the weather's always changing here, so you can go down, it can be a beautiful sunny day, and you can feel the sun on your cheeks, and a nice soft breeze blowing across your face. You come down by the sea, you can smell the salt air, you can feel the sand crunching underneath your boots, and you can hear the waves gently caressing the shore as you listen to the birds above. It's just truly wonderful. And that keeps me grounded, and it keeps me in the moment as I walk along, practice all of this. And by the time I finish my walk, I just feel so happy and so blessed, that I live to do that. So yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard 3 incredible techniques there from Gillian. And if you're not living anywhere near a beach, find a forest or a park or somewhere out in nature to practice the same thing. Love the technique around emotional freedom tapping. A beautiful technique that I've seen other people utilize, and I've actually used myself. But coming to the breathing, the breath work, that to me is probably my favorite one, because whenever I sit with my clients and they go, oh, I'm really feeling stressed, or I'm tense, etc. And I'll say, okay, let's just do, I call it 5x5 breathing, just for 5 rounds. And we're going to do this quickly. And the first time they do it with me, they can't last more than 2 rounds. And I say to them, now, do you see how shallowly you normally breathe? Your body's so starved of oxygen. This is why you're staying in a fight or flight mode, because you're not taking the time to actually breathe deeply, because we're so tense all the time.
Yeah.
And this is what causes us to, because we're in that constant stress mental framework, for us to more easily, I think, be susceptible to anxiety and depression. So thank you, Gillian, for sharing those 3 amazing techniques with myself and with our listeners here today. I think this is just absolutely incredible. For those of you who are not already aware, Gillian is a speaker at the Wellness Lifestyle Conference on the 14th of August. For some strange reason, I almost said of February. Don't know why. We're nowhere near Feb, but anywho, 14th of August. 14th of August, so not this Saturday coming, the next Saturday. And for those who also don't know, Gillian, how should people get in touch with you?
Well, you can catch me on Facebook. I'm Gillian Burtwell Mindset on Facebook. On Instagram, Gillian Burtwell Mindset on Instagram, and on LinkedIn, I'm Gillian Burtwell Mindset Wizard.
Love it. Gillian Burtwell Mindset Wizard, indeed. Absolutely love it. For those of you who are catching the replay either here on YouTube or on Facebook, the description below this video has all of Gillian's contact details as well. So please do get in touch with her if you are feeling like the last couple of months have just been maybe a bit more than you could possibly handle or want to handle. And Gillian can definitely make sure to set your mindset on a more productive and happier path. Gillian, thank you so much for your time here with us today. I really appreciate it. And I would like to just close by saying I'm incredibly jealous by the fact that you're having a wonderfully sunny day up in Scotland. I've been meaning to visit again for ages, and it is absolutely freezing here in Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, beautiful day, sunny skies, but bitterly cold. So do kind of wish I was in. Yeah, I am. Don't worry, I've got several layers on underneath this. So yes, but thank you again for your time, and can't wait to have you back. Have a great day.
You too, Steph. Take care now. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.